Greetings viewers, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're back on the 2002 Bugeye WRX. In the previous videos, actually I don't know if they're previous, this has all been out of order. I've got some videos for this car that still have not been published yet, but essentially at the point of making this video, the car came in, we did a new clutch, new flywheel, we pulled the engine, did a full reseal, all new gaskets, put an oil pan on it. The oil pan, the bottom of the sump was kind of crushed in. Also, the way it was glued onto the block with excessive, and I mean excessive amounts of RTV, the flange got bent up trying to remove it, so we just opted to replace the entire pan. And we did a timing belt, water pump, all that new components. The owner had put spark plugs in the car and done their rocker cover gaskets. So all that done. They put about 1,000 miles or so on the car. They've got the clutch broken and everything. Having some drivability concerns with it now. As we saw in the inspection of the car, it needs a lot of work. Other places, it needs all the suspension basically gone over again. Things of that nature, but right now we got some drivability issues. One, the starter is rigged up on this car. When the solenoid wire from the car is hooked to the solenoid on the starter, it will not start. Checked, there is power on the solenoid wire in the crank position with the key. Have 12 volts. We've checked it with test light and multimeter, but when you hook it to the starter, it will not crank the car. The way the car is right now is the way it came to me. There is a generic 4-pin relay that is wired in beside the intercooler. It was actually the one that was sitting on top of the intercooler in the first video on the car. And they've got it wired where they've got the solenoid wire from the car coming in to the control side of the relay and then going out to battery negative. And then on the other side, the switch side of the relay, they have a wire coming from the positive of the battery to the relay and then on the switch side coming out of there to the solenoid. Don't understand why it will not work wired the correct way. But we had some other drivability issues. We think we got some boost leaks, things of that nature. We've got an exhaust leak down by the downpipe where it meets the turbo. So we're going to do a couple of things. But first thing we're going to do is do a smoke test on this car, and we're going to check for any boost and vacuum leaks. So we'll go ahead and get started with that now. All right, so starting things off, we're going to go ahead and pop off the intake, which is this not for the car weird little short ram, which probably is part of our issue because this does not fit the intake. Neither does it fit correctly here at this mass air. But we'll get this out of the way, and then what we're going to do is bring our smoke machine in. We're going to put an adapter here to block off the turbo inlet and start smoking the intake and locate our issue. Go ahead and pump this bladder up. It's going to fill our inlet, giving us a secure fit. And then we'll hook our smoker up to this tip here, and it will smoke our intake track for us. This smoke machine, I just got it this week, and I already love it. Probably going to put a link in the description for this smoke machine. I got it on Amazon, and I'll probably do another video just on this smoke machine because for the money, it is pretty awesome. So just go ahead and get this set up real quick. So power and ground hooked up. We'll go ahead and hook up the tip here and start the smoke machine, and we'll look and see where we have smoke escaping. And I've already tested this previously to see where our issue is, so it'll stand out pretty quickly. It's a pretty good sized leak. Sorry about shaky cam, but I think I'm going to take you handheld real quick, just so you can get a better look. So starting to see a little bit of smoke. I don't know if you can see it on camera. We got a little bit of smoke starting to rise up. So here is our issue. It's this aftermarket blow-off valve. We're getting leakage around the actual flange between it and the intercooler. The actual blow-off valve itself is leaking internally, and the actual housing's leaking. It's actually leaking here between these segments. So we already have a factory Subaru recirculation valve, and we're going to install that, get rid of this. Once we do that, we're going to do this test again and see if we have any further vacuum leaks anywhere else in the intake system. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this blow-off valve out of here and install a Subaru factory recirculation valve in its place. You have a 12 millimeter on either side. And we have a hose clamp down here below. It's going to be a pain to get to. Probably going to take the intercooler out of the way just to have better access to that hose. Alright, now that the intercooler is out of the way, we should be able to access the hose clamp here. We could if they hadn't put it on facing the wrong way. Let's reach under here. Get that loosened up. Pull that out of there. I'm probably going to replace this hose clamp. It's pretty crusty. Alright, so now we're going to reinstall, well not reinstall, we're going to install the factory recirculation valve. And reinstall the intercooler. Alright, now we're going to install the new gasket, which I didn't have a gasket for this, so I had to make one. It'll work just the same. And we'll bolt the recirculation valve to the intercooler. snug them up. All right, now that we got that done, we'll re-smoke this intake and see if we've got any more vacuum and boost leaks. All right, smoke machine's running again. I'm gonna see if we've got any more leaks now that we've got this recirculation valve. Looks like we got one right here. That's the PCV hose coming off of the intercooler. Yeah, we got a pretty good size one here on this PCV hose. Which that shouldn't matter. We're looking for ones in the around the intercooler, turbo, intake manifold, and various vacuum lines. Look like we've got some smoke coming from right here at the intake. Yep, we've got a crack in this hose right here, so we need to replace this hose. Also going to need to replace these PCV hoses. They are hard as a rock and starting to crack. Got another leak back here. Also coming from a PCV hose. So other than that, looks like we're good. Go ahead and cut the smoke off and let that dissipate. So we got the new recirculation valve installed on the WRX. Went and test drove it. It runs a lot better than it did. Had to order the PCV hoses because I don't have them here. Subaru don't have them in stock either, so it'll probably be next week before I get my hands on those. With that said, we'll go ahead and close the video out here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.